generally, when you're playing against a team that only has 2 wins on the season, clearly the last place team in the entire league, and you're a team that's been struggling, you got a decent record, you're 7-5. You really want to go out there and perform. You kind of want that to be a kind of a statement game where you're like, hey, we're not this middling team that we've been the past couple of weeks. We're actually the team that's more ascended, that's further along in the process than they may have eventually seen. And if we're being honest, that game tonight wasn't really that, or I guess last night. I'm recording this on Sunday morning. But yeah, that game last night wasn't necessarily the game where you're gonna come out here and say the Fever, went out there and showed that they are, this dominant team, and the struggles are behind them. Because even in this game, there were, another game where I honestly felt like they had no chance of losing, even though the Sun were completely healthy for the first time all season. They had their entire, cast of characters. They had BG out there for the first time, I believe, this season. And she played, solid for BG's age. She, does what she does. She'll make a layup. She'll block some shots. Doesn't really move really well, so I kind of like that for our chances, as far as getting to the basket and whatnot. But the game overall just wasn't the, dominant, efficient performance that you wanted it to be. The Fever had a double-digit lead again for, what's this, the third or fourth game in a row. And for the third or fourth game in a row, the game came down to, big plays having to be made in the fourth quarter. Overall, though, even though all that is true, all that is factual, all that is, exactly what happened last night, I would say that it was still a feel good game for a couple of different reasons. So on Twitter, like I said, on Twitter, I said that I would really have preferred that it had been a game where we go out there, dominate them early, able to get off the floor early, get some rest, let Raven get some tick, let KK get more run, maybe Justine Passat can get in the game, but in Indiana Fever fashion, because they are a team that is still deeply flawed, they keep the game close. But I feel like down the stretch of this game, where in other games, because we get to see these games so often, and other games where they have defensive breakdowns and they allow teams to get easy baskets and they foul unnecessarily. Down the stretch of this game, there wasn't too much of that, and I think that's really what led to them being able to get turning this into I believe it was maybe a 3-point game with like 2 or 3 minutes left, and they ended up winning the game by 10. So let's go ahead and let's get into it, man. First and foremost, shout out to anybody who is an Indiana Fever and a New York Knicks fan. The Knicks finally brought home the first championship to New York City in, I think it was 53 years or something like that. My dad keeps telling it to me every time I talk to him. 53 years. 53 years we've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for this. And wild game. You know what I'm saying? We don't talk about too much NBA over here, but you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jalen Brunson. 45 big points in a closeout game from a 6'1" point guard. Are you shitting me, bro? A game where everybody's struggling, Cat struggling, OG struggling. Crazy. Shout out to the Knicks. If you're a Fever and a Knicks fan, hopefully you're somewhere safe right now because, hopefully you ain't drink too much of that Don. You know what I'm saying? You ain't get too much of that yak. And you know what I'm saying? You feeling good. You able to watch this video right now, man. So shout out to the Knicks. But Indiana Fever come out here and they win a game against the Connecticut Sun by a final score. I believe it was 84-74. 85-75. So big games really all around. For the Fever Big Three, Caitlin Clark comes out and gives you 25 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. Leah Boston, another decent performance with a double-double, 13-11. Mo Billings had another great performance after she had kind of struggled the past 2 games after she had really won off against New York. She had a great game. She ended up with 10 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, got a steal, 2 blocks. She played some really good defense down the stretch after she was getting baked for the first half. That first half was really rough for Mo Billings. Like on the offensive end, she was good. She was doing a great job of, running the floor in space, catching the ball, finishing passes. Great job there. But as far as the defensive end goes, she was getting cooked by Anissa Morrow and Olivia Nelson-Adota. Brittany Griner got a little bit. Like really everybody for the Sun got a little bit of action on Mo Billings in that first half. But overall, man, I feel like the team played solid. For this to be a game where we did end up blowing an 11-point lead, the team overall played solid. Nobody really had to do anything overly heroic outside of play within themselves. I feel like Caitlin really started off the game really well in terms of her shot selection. I think this was a game where I don't know, something about that leg sleeve kind of got her locked in. She looked a little bit like D Book with that leg sleeve, like on that 3-pointer in the fourth quarter where she came off the screen and she hit that 3. I was like, is that Book? But she played a lot more in control at times in terms of her shot selection. I feel like her 3-point shot selection in this game was absolutely amazing. I feel like to start the game, I think she hit her first two, but then she missed three in a row. And, we've all seen in the past, Caitlin misses three shots in a row. Next thing you know, she goes from 2 for 2. And next thing you know, we're 2 for 8. But no, I feel like the looks that she got in that first half, excuse my kids yelling in the back if you heard that. The shots that she got in that first half were great shots for three. You know what I'm saying? They weren't too much of her coming off a screen, trying to hit step backs. It wasn't too much of her, trying to do a dribble handoff and rushing a three. It was shots where she was able to catch the ball, step into it. Just like I said with that Washington Mystics game winner. I was super confident in that shot because it was a shot where she didn't have to think, and she got to do the thing that we get to watch her do in the videos all off season. All off season, the only videos really that the Indiana Fever posted Caitlin is her doing maybe a couple of pick passing drills and then a bunch of catch and shoot 3-point drills. And the game winner against the Mystic and a lot of those looks that she got in the first half tonight looked just like those videos where she's able to just catch the ball, take 2 steps, and get a good shot. And she missed it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to make every single shot, but I feel like her being able to miss those open threes, wide open threes, good looks, where she's able to spin the ball, get her hand placement right, that all really got her set up for that second half where she's able to come out and knock down 3 more threes. Some big threes in that fourth quarter that we really needed to help us, kind of keep the game close and end up pulling away a little bit towards the end. So great game by Caitlin. I feel like Kelsey was really played under control again for the second game in a row. After that game where she was just came, I think it was the Liberty game. After the Liberty game where she came out here and she was just chucking shit at the rim. The past 2 games she's been a lot more in control. She hasn't been as efficient. She was 6 of 15 tonight or last night. She had 19 points, and just overall I feel like her hustle on the defensive end in terms of her rotations and her terms of her helping box out players like Brittany Griner, like she mixed it up. And like I've said it multiple times, I believe, on this channel. All Kelsey much has to do is give me solid effort. We know the shots are going to come and go. She's going to make shots. She's going to miss shots. But she has to give us consistent effort on the defensive end. And as of lately, she's been doing a better job of really spraying that ball around. I believe she had 5 assists tonight. So I think she's getting kind of more into that mode that she was in during the 24 season, where Caitlin and her were kind of like really just playing off each other and being able to set up the entire team around that. You kind of argue that the addition of Aaliyah Boston as a hub is kind of what resulted to Kelsey going back to this, score first mentality. But yeah, listen, great game by Kelsey. Mo Billings played great. I feel like Maisha Hines-Allen, she came out, played a decent game. She actually literally put up no stats, it says here. No stats except for maybe a turnover. And Sophie Cunningham, man. Sophie Cunningham made a super late appearance last night in a game where I believe she had 0 points coming down to the last 5 minutes of the game. She finishes the game with 11 points, and there were 11 points in a row, and the Fever ended up winning by 10. Shout out to Sophie Cunningham. She came down, she hit 2 threes. She got a nice little layup at a buzzer beater and really slammed the door shut on or maybe it was 11, maybe 8, I forget. But she slammed the door shut on Connecticut. So shout out to Sophie, shout out to the Fever. Yeah, it's a dub that you like to take. But let's go ahead and let's take a look at just some of this footage that we got down the stretch of this game. So down the stretch of this game, it is a 3-point game. I'm going to make this a full screen. We got us a 3-point game here. Caitlin Clark just misses a 3, and now we have Sanaya Rivers, who's got a rebound, and now she's coming down. So Sanaya Rivers, so typically in a situation like this, we've seen it multiple times. If you watched the game, you saw it at the end of the first half. Sanaya Rivers was able to get a rebound and run straight down the court and get right to the rim. But coming down this time, she gets some great ball pressure up top from Kelsey Mitchell, who stops her initial go, and then we have one-on-one isolation with Mo Billings against Olivia Nelson-Adota. So overall, like I was saying, during the course of this game, Mo Billings was getting fried in the situation. She was either, getting scored on or she was fouling. But down the stretch of the game, I feel like she did a lot better job of letting the defender, or letting the offensive player move. At the same time, when she hits center point, she walls up, and now she forces them into a bad pass out to BG, and BG forced up a really bad shot on Aaliyah Boston. And the Fever did a great job of securing possessions in this game. In this game, I believe that they allowed, maybe it was 0 second chance points for the 0 second chance points for the Sun, and for a team that has Brittany Griner, for them to have 0 second chance points, or maybe it was like 2 or 4. I think they might have got a couple towards the end of the fourth quarter, but you'll take that. You'll definitely take that. So we get that stop there. I believe we come down and we get a bucket, or actually we don't come down and get a bucket. And this is the next possession down. Caitlin plays some great individual defense on Sanaya Rivers right here. Right after she got this bogus ass technical, she got a technical foul for kicking the ball. So she deflects the ball out of bounds. I'm just going to back it up. She deflects the ball out of bounds. The ball hits the back wall. and then she kicks it, trying to get the ball back in front of her, and she got a fucking technical for that. The Fever got their second delay game technical for that. You should see it here in a second. But yeah, second delay game technical for that. Apparently, it was reported at the end of the game that Caitlyn was ejected from it. Here it is right here. So she kicks the ball, then she immediately runs back after it to go get it, and she got teed up for that shit. I swear to God, I'd be feeling like the Fever be trying to play against the refs and social media and everybody else. It's more than just the 5 players that they're playing from the opposite team. This is such a bogus technical foul. She got a technical foul a little bit earlier in the game for chirping at the Suns coach. For a player that's supposed to be the star of the face of the league. And this is kind of what annoys me a little bit about the WNBA, because let's look at the NBA for one second, okay? New face of the league, Victor Wembanyama, big tall French kid, out here hooping, dunking on people, being big as hell, shooting threes, phenomenal. The NBA in their business mind, they see this and they're like, yo, this dude, when he's on the court, everybody wants to watch him. Everybody wants to see what he's going to do next. Yeah, he's 7'5". He's supposed to be doing all this shit, but it's still crazy to see. So we got to make sure we have him on every single chance that we get. And they had the super benefit of having the San Antonio Spurs go on a super deep playoff run this year. So they made it to the fucking finals. So that's just more and more eyes they get to see Wemby. But if you have watched, and again, I don't know how this turned into Fever coverage or finals coverage, but we'll spin it back to the Fever in a second. When during the course of the San Antonio Spurs playoff run, there were many instances where Victor Wembanyama did things that they weren't appealing to the public guy. They weren't sexy. They weren't the best looks for him as a person, for him to be a young kid, and he's out here calling out hits on Jared McCain, and he's elbowing Naz Reid in the fucking neck, and he's pushing little Jalen Brunson by his neck on the ground like he's a fucking puppy that's misbehaving. It's ridiculous. Not ridiculous. It was a bad look for Wemby in a lot of areas. And even in the game tonight, or last night, Wemby comes out against Jalen Brunson, contests a three, gets inside his landing space, and Jalen Brunson legitimately turns his ankle. Gets up, he's hobbling, he's limping. The Knicks call a timeout. Jalen Brunson is screaming at the referees. He's pissed, absolutely upset. In a normal circumstance for any other player, just last game, a player on the Knicks got a flagrant foul for that very same thing, a landing zone foul. And with this flagrant foul, Victor Wembanyama would have been suspended had there been a game 6. And the NBA turned a blind eye to it. The NBA said, "What technical foul? He didn't touch that nigga's foot, bro. What the fuck are you talking about?" Nah, bro, it's his feet. Just because his feet big don't mean that he tripped him, bro. I don't care what you saw on video. The NBA the referees, there was a timeout called out immediately after. The referees didn't even review it. Maybe because there was no call made, but even that's part of it. No call being made on the 7'5" guy hurting the 6'1" point guard on the other team. Nobody gives a fuck. Because that's a star. He's a star. The league recognized that. We need him in the game. Man, listen, as long as Jalen Brunson isn't actually hurt and going to miss games, hey, bro, ball up. Check ball up top. But in the WNBA, for some reason, Caitlyn is not allowed to say anything to these referees without them getting in their feelings and throwing out technicals. She's chirping at a coach who looks like fucking DJ Khaled out there. Just he's a wild looking guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was watching the game, I was like, yo, what is going on with the Connecticut Sun coach? Like, coaching standards in the NBA has already dropped as far as fit goes. I don't know how he is on X's and O's, but as far as fit goes, we've gone from coaches having to wear suit and ties and maybe dresses or whatever the fuck. So now you can really wear whatever you want. You can kind of you can wear just the team logo. You can kind of put on a little bit of what you want. It's not as bad as in college where they be coming out dripped out in Dior and all that, but you can kind of there's a lot more flexibility there. This nigga was out here looking like, and I'm not trying to be racist when I say this, bro, he looked like the nigga at the bodega that be selling chopped cheeses, bro. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. He looked like the Ock. Not trying to be racist, bro. I'm being dead ass serious, my nigga. I'm just going by off the looks. We gonna get to see him in a minute. He didn't look like a guy who's out here being a professional coach. That's all I'm saying. But the WNBA out here does not know how to just let Caitlin Clark be Caitlin Clark. People like to see that fired. People know that Wemby did these things, and a lot of people are like, I fuck with it. Let Caitlin show this fire. And at this point, this is just a silly ass technical. This is a silly ass technical that I guess may or may not have been a reason that she could have got ejected, because it would have been her second technical on the game. It's fucking stupid, bro. It's stupid. But They Connecticut gets a technical free throw, and I wanted to really show this defensive possession. So come on, let's go. Moving on, moving on, moving on, and here we go. All right, so another great defensive possession here. Caitlin plays some great one-on-one defense, and it's times where we've seen Caitlin just get absolutely burned on just one crossover going to the rim. She's able to cut off Sinai Rivers right as she's ready to pull up for her jump shot, and we get another stop. You do a great job of closing out possession with a rebound. Fantastic. Next time down, let's see. Next time down, because all these are rapid succession. So we get Sophie Cunningham's first three off a dribble penetration from, I think it was either Caitlin or Leah Boston, I'm not sure. But here we go, another great possession. Fighting through screens, not switching, fighting through screens, trapping off of screens. Great hands by Kelsey here. They're able to force the ball inside to get it back outside. And now look at Mo Billings on this play. She's helping for the first time I believe I've seen all season. We actually have help side defense where players are able to actually come by and get a steal on the help side. A terrible entry pass, and Mo Billings reads it like a book. Shout out to Mo Billings in the fourth quarter. We come back down. I believe this is where Sophie gets her second three-pointer. Wait a minute. Wait for it. Boom! She gets her second three-pointer. Now we're up by 8. And honestly, we just need one more stop. One more stop in this game is just about wraps. And what do we do for our last defensive possession of the game that really matters? Because I believe BG does hit a free jump shot after this, but at this point the game's essentially over. A minute and a half left. We're up by 8. Not even the Fever can blow this lead. Come on. All right. Last possession that really matters. Fighting through screens. Forces switch. Anissa Morrow gets the ball up top. And the Fever is doing a great job not letting them really get in the paint. They end up getting a decent shot, but they end up just missing one more rebound, and you got yourself a ball game. So down the stretch of the game, I feel like when the Fever really needed to show dominance, something that they really should have did last game against Chicago. Down the stretch of the game, just make the plays that winning teams make and win the game, and I feel like they did that. They did that in this fourth quarter. Let's go ahead and take a look at some player stats because we did have a performance from Miss Caitlin Clark. Before I show the full clips, I do want to show something that I just need to become a part of Caitlin Clark's game every single night. I don't think I'm asking too much of this. I think she can shoot this shot like 3 or 4 times a game. So she gets the ball, hold up, swing, rock. All right, she gets the ball here. Wait, is this the right one? Oh, it's the longest best. There we go. She goes into the post. This post spin is something that we could rock with. If Caitlin is never going to develop a floater, if she's never going to become somebody that can get into that little 10 to 15 area and throw a little floater up, this is a shot that we're going to take all day, every day. She's 6'1", she's a big guard. People be acting like because she's frail that she's not a big guard. She's still tall out here. And she got a guard who's pretty solid in her own right. I think her name is late, I'm forgetting her name. But goes into the post, and we need this shot 3 to 5 times a game. We hit 3 of these shots a game. We take a 25-point game to a 29-point game. 29 and 5. It's great for the stats. We love the stats. But let's go ahead and take a look. Caitlin last night, 25 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, hit 5 big three-pointers. Great to see that three-pointer really starting to come back the last couple of games. I said after, I forgot which one of the losses it was, but that Caitlin's three-point shot needed to really get clicking. Like in the second quarter of the season, we were throwing all excuses out the window. Caitlin needs to be able to actually come out here and knock down threes. And for her to be able to be coming down and knocking down contested step-back threes, I really feel like it's contributing from, that's all coming from being able to get easier shots in the first half, and as well as Steph White actually letting her point guard play most of the first quarter. For the last 3 games, Caitlin has played majority of the first quarter, and the Fever offense has hummed the last 3 games. Part of that may be due to them playing the worst 3 teams in the league, or definitely the worst 2 teams in the league. We got to just take it. You got to just take what you can get from it. So 25, 5, and 3. Leah Boston, a solid game. And here's the technical foul right here. So DJ Khaled is over here. I don't know if he was saying something or what, but Caitlin responds to him, and she's like, yo, shut that shit down, my man. Fuck is you talking about? Fuck is you talking about, my nigga? I'm taking this fucking Arizona, the dollars on the counter, bro. Stop fucking playing with me, bro. Stop fucking playing with me. But she gets the T. Bullshit ass T. She didn't even do too much, bro. She didn't even do too much. But she gets a silly ass technical there. Silly shit like that is really what keeps teams in the game. Give them extra possessions, as well as just the turnovers. Let's come here and take a look at the turnovers just for a second. Let's see how many turnovers we did have. This is why the game was still even able to be even in question. 16 turnovers, bro. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. We literally let teams stay in games they have no business being in by turning the ball over, and at some point, that's really what we got to get under control. Like, it can't be a situation where Kalen's a turnover machine and the rest of the team's a turnover machine. Like, if Kalen's going to be the one who's going to be taking these risky passes, because it's not like there's other people on the team that are out here making making dropping dimes. It's not like we have another person on the team that's averaging, over 4 assists, over 5 assists. So the rest of the team doesn't really need to be as they don't need to be as risky with the ball. Like, for this to be a motion offense, read and react, just make the plays that make sense in front of you. And the really the offense will carry themselves. Like, Kalen played 36 minutes. It's only 40 minutes in a game. Like, you don't really need to go out there and try to go too crazy in the non-Kalen minutes. And then at the end of the day, if Kalen finishes with 5 turnovers, we can take that. If this, instead of this being 16 turnovers, it's 11 turnovers. It's we'll live with that. But 8-5, man. 8-5. Got another game coming up, I believe, against a Tempo, a team that's a step up, I would say, from the Chicagos and the Connecticut's of the world. But a team that we can beat, a team that I believe is still a Commissioner Cup game. So really, if you care about the Commissioner Cup, we need to come out here and beat the dog piss out of the Tempo, and we need the Liberty to lose. But we'll figure all that out in a couple days. Make sure you leave a like, make sure you leave a comment, and then hit that subscribe button, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.